Hey everybody, an all-new edition of Craft Brewed Sports starting up in just a minute here. This week, the Batman trailer came out with Robert Pattinson as Batman. I'm really stoked for it. So this week, we're going to be rating our beers on the Batman scale. We're going to go from Clooney all the way to Bale. So Scott, why don't you start us off? What are you drinking this week and rate your beer on the Batman scale?
Well, I am drinking chocolate cinnamon roll from Braxton Brewing, brewed locally here, well, kind of sort of locally with Kentucky and Northern Kentucky. It's 8% Imperial Brown Ale with cacao nibs and some cinnamon rolled into it. And if we're putting Christian Bale at the top of the Batman scale, then I'm swinging for the fences here. This is definitely Michael Keaton's Batman, which I'd put just a notch below the top of the scale.
Ooh, okay, fair enough. Drew, what do you got in your dugout mugs this week?
This week I'm going with Abuse of Stout from Dubco Brewing, I believe it is.
Destination Unknown.
Destination Unknown Beer Company. That makes so much more sense than Dubco.
What about
I'm looking
Dubstep
forward
Brewing?
to it though. I love me some dubstep, I tell you what. But
Of course you do.
yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I'm excited. Smells delicious, smells chocolatey, smells thick. And honestly, as Sherm pointed out today, it's never too hot for a stout.
That's damn right, man. It's always stout season. On the Batman scale, where's that initial sip falling for you?
On the Batman scale, I'm gonna give it a Michael Keaton. It's okay. It's good. I think I got a little bit too much
Michael
mint
Keaton
in my
was
mouth.
the
now.
definitive Batman until recently, man.
Well, no, there's still some ways to go above Michael Keaton. No offense, but we'll talk. We'll get into that later.
We will talk about that later. This week, I am drinking Sad Panda Coffee Stout from Horse and Dragon Brewing. This one's a 6.8%. I'm the baby of the group this week with the mini ABV at only 6.8%. But we're all going stouts. It's stout season here on the show.
It's always stout season, baby.
It is always stout season. This one is so much coffee flavor. It is delicious. This is borderline Bale. I'm gonna have to go right with you on that, Scott. I'm gonna say Keaton. Like it may tip its way into Bale territory here by the end of the night. Let us know below what you guys are drinking and rate it on the Batman scale. All new Craft Brewed Sports starting up right now. It is Wednesday night, and that means it is time to crack a brew and hang out with us. This is Craft Brewed Sports, home of the drunkest sports takes on the internet. I am Mike. Hanging out with me, as always, is Scott. Scott, how you feeling tonight, man?
Feeling good, feeling great. How are you?
Fantastic, man. And Scott leaves the camera. Good time to leave the camera, though. I appreciate that.
It's all good. I was trying to figure out why my audio was coming through my computer and jacking me up here. So it's cool.
Always
I was gonna say I can hear a little something. I thought it was me, and I'm over here freaking out like shit. I fucked up.
Drew, here? How
just
you
killed the boost?
Nah, it don't matter. We haven't been boosting for a while. It's all good. How you feeling tonight, Drew?
Right. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like we got a lot to get into. We're doing stouts here in August, boys, so you know it's gonna be a fun time.
Tons to get into.
Also, I gotta point out before I flip it backwards, I finally got my fresh ass craft brew lid. Oh my God, Michael! I don't think this thing has left my head since I picked it up this weekend. It smells nasty, but looks fly.
The crew. Oh, it smells bad? It has been sitting in the basement for a while.
It's because I've been wearing it for like 5 days straight.
You got the official crew lid. If you guys want one of these hats that I'm wearing, you can get that at the Craft Brewed Sports shop, craftbrewedsports.com/shop. Also, you can rock this Dinger Slinger shirt I'm wearing. All kinds of gear up in the shop. But tons to get to tonight. We've got to talk about this boycott that literally just happened before we went on the air tonight.
People keep adding their name to the list, baby.
They just sign me up too. I'm a boycott too. Scott's gonna do some hockey for us. We got a game of Sip Chug Drainpour that we're gonna get into tonight, and we are going to unveil our first ever Craft Brewed Sports college football rankings. The AP put theirs out, so we should put ours out too. So we will get to all of that. And before we do, we got to get into On Deck. And On Deck is brought to you by Beer Drop. Everybody, look, we get beer shipped directly to us, and Beer Drop is the way to do it. If you want to get award-winning craft beers delivered straight to your door, starting at under $4 a serving, our friends at Beer Drop can hook you up. Fill out your flavor profile, sign up for one of their monthly plans, and they will curate a box of fresh award-winning craft beer that will be sent right to your door. You can swap out beers, add more, or skip a month. And if you don't like commitment, you can still go there and order. They will still take an order for you. You can pick whatever beers you want. They will ship it out, deliver it directly to your door. Head on over to craftbrewedsports.com/beerdrop. Get $5 flat shipping on all of your orders. This week, fellas, I think I'm going to lead us off on deck. I'm feeling a little homerish today. It is training camp, kind of, in the NFL, and I heard a training camp story this week, so I'm going to lead us off on deck with a story from Bengals training camp. So Mackenzie Alexander, I don't know if you guys have heard about this story just yet. Yesterday, Alexander left Bengals training camp because his dad went missing in Florida. He became a missing persons, and Alexander was like, look, I got to go. And the team was like, absolutely, go handle your business. So Alexander leaves camp. He heads on down to Florida. This morning, I wake up to an alert that Mackenzie Alexander is in jail. And I was like, wait, what happened that he went down to Florida because his dad was missing and now he's in jail? It turns out that apparently what had happened was his dad went with another guy berry picking. Weird.
Berry picking.
Very strange. But I mean, I ain't judging.
Florida man.
I ain't judging. You want to go berry picking? You go berry picking. I don't know. I've never berry picked in my life. I feel like that's a very couples thing to do, but whatever. He goes berry picking with his buddy. The guy left Alexander's dad.
Dingleberry or two, but that's cool.
I used to cherry pick in basketball.
So the guy leaves Alexander's dad behind. He just I don't know if there was a fight, if there was an altercation, what happened, but he just bails on him and leaves him, and now Alexander's dad is missing. So Mackenzie Alexander went and confronted this guy about it and decided that he was going to throw hands for leaving his dad behind. Threw hands, got arrested for battery, and is now sitting in a jail cell. He might have bailed out at this point. But guys, is this the perfect Bengals training camp story? What a crazy way for Bengals to start a COVID-laced pandemic season than having one of your guys leave to go tend to an issue of a missing person, your dad is missing, and then end up in jail. That is so
classically Bengals that it's almost not even funny.
Right?
They're like, man, you know what? It's hard to get arrested in COVID season. We gonna find a way.
Bars are closed down.
Is what kind of berries was he picking? Because berries could be code for some shit. This is Florida, after all.
That's a very good point. I do not know what he was picking, or why he was picking, or what was going. That I got to be honest. That's the whole reason why I put this story in, was because they were berry picking. I don't know. The rest of it was weird.
It's 100% crunch berries.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great cereal, man.
He was trying to scratch the roof of his mouth up real good. He's like, let me go pick these crunch berries. Got lost. Next thing you know, his son is in jail.
Man, ain't that the shit though with Captain Crunch? Is that thing always murders your mouth like that? I wake up the next day going like, what did I do here?
Just gonna ignore that I just said he wanted to tear up the roof of his mouth.
Drew is just looking ahead. He's previewing his story. He's researching. He's making sure. Bengals doing Bengals things already in 2020. Scott, you, sir, are on deck.
Kapow! Yankees suck ass, y'all. Who's Garrett Cole? I don't even know who that dude is. Anyway, we're not talking about baseball, and the NBA bubble is shrinking so much that there's nobody even in it at the moment. I mean, playoff teams are kind of still there, but we're going to stick with football, and kind of. Because Plaxico Burress is back in the news, didn't shoot himself again, didn't make himself get out of the league because he demanded a contract that he wasn't worth it. This time he's in the news because dude started an OnlyFans account, which is even weirder than him shooting himself. I never thought that we'd hear a story about Plaxico Burress that was weirder than him shooting himself in the leg. But here we are in 2020, dude decided he's going to start an OnlyFans account. Now, if you're not familiar with OnlyFans, it's usually for porn. It's usually for a cheap way to get not safe for work videos out there that people pay a subscription fee for each month. And apparently Plaxico Burress is trying to get in on that. Dude's charging like $14 a month for his content. As of the show, hasn't released any content, so we might all be lucky. I can't imagine that anybody's really trying to subscribe to see Plaxico Burress do anything these days. I mean, unless he's beating the Patriots in the Super Bowl, I don't care what Plaxico Burress is doing.
Now you know why. You know why people are signing up for Plaxico Burress's account.
You trying to see them feet?
Nope. All they want to see is, well, yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, they just want to see the gunshot wound. That's it. They just want to see the gunshot wound. That's it. As soon as, and he will never post that. He will never reveal that picture. But once he does, everybody's out.
It'll just be a whole bunch of people being, hey, show that hole. You know the one we want to see. Yeah, so
I'm not going to comment because I ruined the last one apparently, so I did that best five.
But what's even funnier about this is, you know, the internet's got all worked up in the past week because apparently Beyonce hopped on something and mentioned that she might create an OnlyFans account. Hasn't yet, but that'll blow up the internet when it does. But Bella Thorne, I had to Google her too. Some Disney star once upon a time ago. This chick made $2 million in a week and actually flipped $1 million in just one day. And 24 hours after making her count, she made $1 million. By the end of the 7-day period, she made $2 million. I think Plaxico's got some work to do. There's no way that dude's pulling down $2 million off anything he shows.
Dude, that's some creepy, thirsty
dudes. I want to know. Like, play it out. Like, you know how they always do those things with like Major League Baseball pitchers and stuff, and like he's getting paid this much per inning he pitches and whatnot. Like, how much content did she actually put out? Like, I'm thinking she maybe did a 5-minute vid and called it a day, and she racked in, you know, $1 million large. And damn.
Here's what I don't understand, guys.
Damn.
Here's what I don't understand. It is the year of our Lord 2020, and people are paying for porn? I didn't think that was a thing anymore. I didn't think you had to do that. I thought it was just there. Like, you could just search porn and like millions and millions of free porn sites.
I thought you could just search porn and it showed up at your door through Amazon. Like, you didn't even have to like wait. No, dude, is that a knock at the door? Damn, that was fast.
It ain't even that hard, man. Just pull up any social media platform and start scrolling.
That's a good point. You can get stuff on Twitter if you really want to. You can find some porn on Twitter. Like, I don't.
Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. I mean, dude, you could find porn in the Sears catalog back in the day if you looked hard.
I mean, people still pay for movies, so I guess
that's a good point. I mean, that's a valid point. Also, I thought OnlyFans, like, the point of that site was people who
OnlyFans can join.
Well, I thought it was like people who weren't celebrities that were on there. Like, I thought it was just like girls.
Bella Thorne ain't a celebrity.
Well, haven't you ever seen how
Plaxico Burress?
These social media things all start out like that. It's supposed to just be for Joe everybody. Then celebrities take over, and then it just becomes something that nobody really cares about. And then that's how you get, you know, Instagram models and all that other crap.
Dude, speaking of Instagram models, the Instagram model that hooked up with 7 of the Phoenix Suns players, she started an OnlyFans account, and she got like. She went from getting $2,000 the one day to getting like $50,000 overnight. So that chick hooked up with 7 Phoenix Suns and then was like,
allegedly.
No, she said she did.
It made, just because she said it didn't mean it happened.
I believe her.
Like, you could admit to being a hoe, but that doesn't mean you're actually a hoe.
I believe her, Drew. What world do we live in that we can't trust a woman when she says she blew 7 Phoenix Suns?
That's a fair point. You're right.
I'm still waiting for the names. Like, I mean, because for me, I can't name anybody past Devin Booker. So
that's all I got.
I'm like, does Chuck still play there? Dan Marley?
I also want to know, how did she go about it, too? Did she go starting 5, then the bench as they rotate into sub? Did she go centers outwards? You know, did she start at the point guard spot and go from the 1 down to the 5? Like,
did Steve Nash show back up? Or because that's it. There's my Phoenix Suns knowledge. I think Shaq played there for a hot minute, and then he named himself the Big Cactus. Did she blow Shaq?
Whew. Drew!
She's like,
Drew! We're pulling the ripcord. Pulling the ripcord. We're getting out of this. Getting out of it. Drew, you are on deck.
Man, I didn't hear the charge. That's disappointing. But yeah, so my story today is this came out in Sports Illustrated originally. So like any good fan of media in 2020, I read the truncated version. where it just gave me the highlights.
You read
and
the
really,
text I
all
sent you?
People need to know right now is Notre Dame football is our savior. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for y'all to step up and recognize. Because if it weren't for our great Fighting Irish, there would be literally no college football this year whatsoever, except for the decades-old reruns they'd be playing on ESPNU. Yes, this is a stated fact. Sources say that the reason the Big Ten started the dominoes toppling is they expected that when they canceled their season, the Pac-12 would follow suit, which would then put pressure on the ACC to follow suit. Once the ACC canceled, then the Big 12 would fold. And at that point, the SEC is like, well, we don't have any cupcakes to beat up on. And eventually we would have to take that L. So I guess we'll have to cancel our season too. However, because once again, Notre Dame has the best intentions for all of America and mankind in mind, they pressured the ACC to make sure they still played a season, even to go so far to share a couple dollars of our TV revenue with them. So once that happened and we struck that deal behind closed doors, when the Big Ten canceled and the Pac-12 canceled, the ACC was like, nah, we good. We'll go for it. We'll figure something out here. And the Big 12 was like, sweet. We can still throw the ball for 18,000 yards, play no defense, and losing all our bowl games. And the SEC is like, sweet, easy pickings again. So all we have to do is beat William Sweeney and his chumps, and we got another title for Alabama. So that's right, folks. Notre Dame is your college football savior. Y'all better step up, recognize, put some respect on our names, appreciate us for what we are and our role in this world, because not only did we save college football, but we also went ahead and fucked Michigan, Ohio State, and USC in the process. So suck on that.
I'm guessing that Brian Kelly actually led the charge because he's like, how am I supposed to kill another intern?
Whoa. Allegedly.
Yeah. The win got him.
Jesus Christ. I mean,
look, Scott, he may or may not have been involved in one accidental situation. Meanwhile, Nick Saban is just straight up murdering college students down there in Alabama because they got to have a football season.
I love that Nick Saban came out and was like, it's not about the money. It's for the players.
No,
it's like,
players.
Dude, come on, Nick. You ain't fooling anybody. But yes, the fact that Notre Dame screwed over Ohio State, Michigan, and USC on their way to keeping hopes of college football alive, because let's face it, college football isn't going to happen. But the fact that we potentially could have college football is pretty awesome that they first forced the hand of the Big Ten and the Pac-12.
Mike, it's definitely happening, man. Like the most recent stuff I heard is that once you get the Rona and get over it, you're 3 months immune. So what they're going to do after a while is realize, all right, you know what, the whole let's prevent it thing ain't going to work, because these football players, these college students are still going to party. They're going to pivot. They're just going to give them all a little bit of the Rona and be like, great, now we got 3 months to knock this shit out, y'all.
Little bit of
you know what
the
that is?
Rona.
That's 12 weeks.
Get a little bit of the Rona, just a taste of the Rona.
A little bit of the Rona.
They'll inject it themselves, right? They'll just be like, just give me just a touch. So I just want to lose my smell and taste. I don't want to die.
Yeah, exactly. They'll just mix it in with their steroids that they're taking anyways. So why not, right?
Give me that Rona cocktail. I'll be good to go.
Yeah.
Can I get a taster? Can I get a taster of the Rona? I just want a little taster.
Like a side dish.
I don't want like the whole thing. But just like I just want a sample.
No, just give me a lipper. Just give me a lipper. I'm good.
Right? Yeah.
This has been On Deck, brought to you by Beer Drop. Again, craftbrewsports.com/beer drop. Sign up today, $5 flat shipping. Have craft beer delivered directly to your door. Sell out. All right, fellas.
So wait, before we move on, I do got to ask some questions about some stuff I've seen here in the comments.
Okay, yeah, I apologize. I don't have the chat pulled up, so I haven't been really keeping up on things.
It's all good. It's all good. So because now Facebook apparently doesn't want to show me all the comments, I have to wait for the screen to come back. Here it goes. Oh, maybe it was a YouTube comment. Well, all I know is someone said, fuck Notre Dame harder than Scott Kaiser, and I just need to know, how much you been fucking Scott Kaiser lately?
Wow, that's a weird point to move on to. But
yeah.
It's a weird question to ask.
I believe it was Joe Hall that's been getting at you, Scott. So I'm just curious, what's going on here?
Joe Hall hates Scott Kaiser.
I love me some Joe Hall.
We're switching up format. We've listened to you guys. People say what they let us know what they like and what they want to see out of this show. So because of that, we have switched things around. And ladies and gentlemen, it is time for everybody's favorite segment of the week.
As they say in hockey,
Time to do that hockey. Scott, you are a resident hockey expert. It is time for you to do that hockey for us. Give us your update. What do you got from the bubble this week?
Well, unfortunately, my Avalanche are down 2-0, so they got some work to do. But the rest of the series are all tied up at 1 apiece. So, we got that good hockey going right now. Not that NHL playoff hockey is ever bad, but, man, there's nobody running away with things except for, like I said, the Stars are up 2-0 on Avalanche. But
man, your Avs got screwed there, too. You see Joe Thornton just flop his little bitch ass down.
No, I missed that.
Yeah, well, it turned the tide of the whole game right there.
Yeah, well, that's a bummer.
That's a bummer. What's standing out to you, Scott, from this playoffs? Anything that looks different, feels different? I mean, as you're watching these games and you're consuming all this hockey and you're watching with no fans, is it different for an avid fan like yourself?
How many times I got to tell you, man, watching hockey with no fans is completely different than watching hockey with. I mean, there's nobody to throw the octopi on the ice.
Or catfish or whatever else.
Yeah, I know. The hats, I mean, it's not as fun.
No, they do have people to throw the hats. Remember, the ice girls are down there to throw the hats out.
Yeah, but I mean, like, legit fans, not just this half-assed.
Don't you think they should be throwing masks out just in the parlance of our times?
That would actually be pretty cool. But since
Right?
they're from Canada, they're like, nah, we're not going to do that.
Well, look at it this way, right? It could be an extra incentive, right? Like if you score 3 goals and the ice girls throw a bunch of masks on the ice, your team gets to keep them. You know what I mean? Like now your supplies increase of masks you can wear.
I want to talk about something really important that I
Always
saw floating around the internet. Was there's a couple of concepts going around for the Seattle Kraken goalie mask.
Yes.
Man, that shit looks good.
All right, we're all in agreement, right? The Kraken is the show team, correct? That's going to be our team going forward. We are all in on the Kraken.
I mean, I'll wear a Kraken jersey over my Avalanche jersey, but absolutely.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
I'm not going to say I'm out necessarily, but I can't, leave my wings. Like those are my boys forever, but the Kraken will be my Western Conference team.
All right, I'll take that. Since I have no allegiance, I am 100% all on board with filling the Kraken. That is
Isn't
where
Detroit in the Western Conference?
They were back in the day, and then when they did the realignment, they're like, "Hey, this doesn't really make sense. Let's."
I never understood. Yeah, I never understood it then.
Well, no, it did make sense if you really think way back in the day with the original 6. Detroit was the westernmost, along with Chicago. Yeah.
Well, that's probably what it was. Just a classic thing then.
Right. You gotta put respect on their name. Oh, JB, goddammit, coming in with a question here. You see that?
Hold on. That's a hot take. We got
a hot take.
We got a show fan JB asking the over/under on the Kraken making the cup before the Red Wings do again. And you know what?
No, before the Red Wings make the playoffs.
Can I just
not even the cup, the playoffs?
Just a point of clarification. That's not an over/under. Like I don't. There is no over/under included.
Just
in this.
Will it happen? Or
yeah, just like which one happens first. Like give us the okay. Sorry, I just had to clarify that real quick. Okay, so Scott, you're the resident hockey expert.
Fan. He's probably drunk. Mike, get off his case.
That's a good point. You're the resident hockey fan, Scott. Which happens first? Kraken make the cup final, or Detroit makes the playoffs?
I'm gonna show Drew just a little bit of love here because
Did you just call me a Jew?
I heard that as well.
Wow, I said Drew, but I love me some Jews too, so that's cool. I would definitely say that Detroit gets back to the playoffs before Seattle makes the final because, outside of Las Vegas, usually in every sport ever, expansion teams, shit the bed the first couple of years. And it takes them a while to build things up. So Detroit accidentally backs into the playoffs just before Seattle makes the final.
I got to back up here because Ed from Pardon the Punctuation dropped a what's cracking joke, and I do appreciate that, Ed. I just want to give Ed a shout out. Ed reached out to Sean Casey. We got to take a sidebar from Do That Hockey for a second.
Mayor?
Yes, he reached out to the mayor on Twitter and said, "Hey, will you come on our Cincinnati-based podcast and do an interview?" And the mayor said, maybe. He did the same thing they did to us, where he follows you and then you send him a message and he reads it, but he never responds. So Ed says, "I will eat 12 cheese conies in one sitting. If I do it, will you come on the show?" And Casey was like, "Yeah, if you eat 12 conies in a sitting, I will come on your show and do an interview." Ed, I think, got through most of them, but there's definitely puking going on. I mean, it was not a pretty sight in the video. And Casey responded with the video and was like, hey, you gave it a try. I thought that was hilarious. I'll do the show. We'll set something up. So be on the lookout for Pardon the Punctuation.
All we had to do was stuff ourselves
12
with conies?
Yep.
Mike, I
Why
mean,
don't we- why don't
I
we
did that
send
Saturday. What the fuck, man?
Why don't we send them the video of Mike being a little bitch with all the shots? We've got like 3 or 4 videos of that. Do you think that'll work?
Or vomiting foam after you beer bonged like a child. I mean,
That's
come
what I'm
on.
saying. Like, we've got all sorts of
If
Mike.
it just takes some dude to
finishing
puke on
challenge.
video, just like post a camera in Mike's bathroom. You'll catch him at some point.
It's good. It might happen tonight. All right, Scott, I'm going to give you the serious music because now it's time for these hard-hitting hockey questions. And,
Okay,
I got a
I
couple
do
for
this.
you, too.
I really needed to amp this up a little bit more for you. So
I
we're
know
gonna-
the softballs you've been giving me the past couple of weeks.
I know. We are getting very intense here with this Do That Hockey Talk. So here we go. Does anybody really care about Boston versus Tampa Bay?
No.
Outside, I guess I should clarify, outside of Boston and Tampa Bay. And maybe just outside of Boston, because people probably in Tampa Bay probably don't even care either, huh?
I was just gonna say, I was like,
Yeah, they're
the
trying not to
racist-
die in these hurricanes. What are you talking about?
The super racist and Boston do, and that's about it.
All right, good answer. I would agree with you on that one. Okay,
I don't know about that, man. Everyone in the NHL hates both those squads. So really, what it is they hope they go 7 games, 5 OTs in the last one, and then their team bus gets stuck on the way to the game 1, and they just end up losing.
oh,
Wait a minute, hold on, real quick. Legit question: Do people hate Tampa Bay? Like for what?
They're a bunch of bitches.
No, I know, but besides that, I mean, is there any reason to really hate them? Like they're just one of those teams that kind of is there.
It's. I would say it's the Yankees, but to do that, you would have to make the playoffs and be, the best team in the league. Tampa Bay is the epitome of we'll rack up points in the regular season and just flame out in the playoffs. So they get hyped for 5 months and then just fall flat on their fucking face in like 2 weeks. So everyone's sick of hearing about them. Not to mention the fact they're just a bunch of soft-ass bitches.
Okay, fair enough.
all right. Moving on to the next question submitted from viewers. Is there a more fun team than the Canucks left in the playoffs? Follow-up question. Is Elias Peterson emerging as one of the NHL's brightest stars right in front of our eyes? Follow-up question. Do you think they have the ability to win the series with the Golden Knights, or was Game 2 just a fluke?
Well, there's no way that anybody's gonna end up beating Lil Jon's Golden Knights, so that was just a fluke all the way. And the Canucks, no, there's plenty more exciting teams than ones that call Canada
Not
home on a
exciting,
permanent
fun.
basis.
Fun.
On permanent basis. Whatever, fun, exciting, whatever. The fact that they got their asses handed to them in game 1 by the Golden Knights suggests that there's nothing fun about them. They're just, Canadian with a weird logo.
Okay, and JB chiming in no on all of those questions. Moving on to the next question. What is your take on the trade that sent Kasperi Kapanen to Pittsburgh? And who got the better deal on that trade? Is that good, Trey? That's close, right?
That's pretty good, yeah.
I mean, it's a solid trade for Pittsburgh. They're looking to retool and get back to the Cup glory days that they spent for the last couple of years here. So it's a solid move for them. But, in the short term, doesn't really mean much until we get back to actual regular hockey.
All right, go ahead.
I got
Drew.
some questions to throw in here too. We can mix them in with the fans' questions here. So, Scott, just real quick, what was the most impressive or I guess surprising part about Varlamov's 2 records on what was it yesterday, Tuesday?
Well, I mean, anytime you set a record, it's an amazing feat. It doesn't matter what the record is. I mean, if it's eating 12 conies and puking your brains out, or if it's playing hockey at an amazing rate, doesn't matter. Setting records is a great thing to do. So, hats off to him.
So you're almost more impressed by the fact that he set 2 at once.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to be. Anytime you set 2 records in one day, that's a pretty good day for you.
All right, Scott, you're an admitted Avs fan. Are the Dallas Stars for real? I mean, they're up 2-0 to Colorado. They've looked very strong. Can the Avs come back from the loss of Philip Grubauer and ride Pavel Francouz to the Western Conference Finals?
That was a tough one. That was a tough one, to be fair.
Yeah, it's going to be
Kuz?
tough for the Avs to come back from the losses, but they do have it in them, and we've seen this before. The best thing about hockey is you can be down 0-3 and you're not out of it, unlike in other sports.
Even without Grubauer, you think the Kuzmeister is going to take him to it, huh?
Kuzmeister.
Koozie.
Yeah, I mean,
Beer koozie.
absolutely. There's always a chance, and I mean, you know, who cares about the Brett Hull led stars? So yeah, Av's got a fighting chance in this one still.
Well, we all know Brett Hull wasn't any good until he came to Detroit, so that makes complete sense.
And absolutely, it was a goal. For all of you in Buffalo, it was a goal.
All right, I've got one more question for you here.
I got a couple too. So
okay, go ahead,
it.
Drew. I've been hogging all the questions. You go ahead.
No, you're good. I'll just fire this out to you, Scott. What do you think about the punishment the NHL came out with today? Was it fair?
That one bypassed me. I was too busy paying attention to all the teams that were canceling and boycotting. So, what did the NHL do today?
All right.
Well
handled, because I was really hoping you were going to talk about some dude cross-checking someone and getting game suspension. But the NHL actually came out today and took away the Arizona Coyotes draft picks for violating the NHL combine testing policy during the 2019-2020 season. So they docked them a second-round pick in the 2020 draft and a first-round pick in 2021.
Well, if you've listened to Do That Hockey before, you know how I feel about hockey in the desert. So as far as I'm concerned, contract Phoenix and get them out of there. I mean, next thing we know, there's going to be somebody coming out saying she blew 7 coyotes. I don't think
we would all be shocked that she found 7 coyotes to blow,
Yeah.
and then we need to validate that they were actually Arizona Phoenix Coyotes.
I was going to say, does Keith Kachuk still play for the Coyotes?
No, but both his kids are in the league, so
Holy crap!
she could go that route.
That'd be impressive.
Yeah.
Biscuit chiming in saying that he would suggest I write out the names phonetically, but listening to me butcher them is hilarious.
Biscuit has clearly nailed the segment.
That is
He gets the show.
the fun of it. Yes,
He gets the show.
Drew, I have one more. Let's go ahead and ask one more, Drew. If you got one more, and then I'll hit the walk off here.
Oh, he's calling a walk off here. All right, great. So I mean, honestly though, Scott, what I really want to know here is what's been the most surprising part about the start of the second round of the playoffs compared to the first for you?
Like I said at the start of this whole thing, I think it's just the fact that all of the series, with the exception of the Avalanche, were all tied up after one. You didn't really see that coming.
Fair enough. Scott, I'm so damn impressed with how you handle questions on the NHL. You were just
I mean, when you watch the NHL like me, there's no reason that you shouldn't know the answers.
You're always the professional. All right, so let's Drew touched a little bit earlier about Seaman Varlamov and the Islanders.
Did you just say I touched Seaman?
Yeah, you were touching on Seaman earlier, right? Seaman Varlamov for his 2 records, right?
Man, the only kind of semen I touch is my own, so check yourself.
So the Islanders send the Capitals home. They got head coach Barry Trotz's revenge on his former team. So does this team have enough firepower with Anthony Beauvillier, Jean-Gabriel Pagemaster, and Matthew Barzal up front to stack up against the elite teams in the East?
I mean, it's anybody's conference to come out of the East. The East right now is wide open. You know, you don't have the defending Stanley Cup champions. So, yeah, the East is wide open.
Who were the Stanley Cup champions last year?
That would be DC, motherfucker. Oh, wait. St. Louis won. St. Louis won last year.
I think that's the second time he's gotten you on that same question. That's the second
so
time.
Confident too. That's
You did. You were so pumped. Oh, you were so pumped.
Oh yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
Well done,
So close,
Drew.
JB. So close. Only off by a year. I will say, dude, the best part is when you try to say some of these names, like you butcher them so bad, it takes me a second to figure out who the hell you're talking about.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking
Who was the
about.
first one before Peugeot?
Before who? Pagemaster? Before that was Anthony Beauvillier.
Bouvillier?
Yeah.
He's
Bobby
here's the thing,
Bonilla.
and not that we want Mike to get better at this.
Bobby
You gotta
Bonilla.
remember, a bunch of these idiots are French Canadian.
I know. Can we get some names like Patrick Kane out on the ice, please? Some good old American names.
Give me speak some American up here in this hockey. I don't
Yeah, damn it. Some Sidney Crosby. I know he's not American, but
at least he sounds.
I know how to pronounce that.
At least
name.
he sounds American. This has been Scott doing that hockey.
I'm gonna be honest, Mike. You might need to ban Biscuit because he just gave you the deepest dig one could.
Let's see what Biscuit said here. Not to get political, but Mike saying these names is like Trump saying Yosemite.
Yeah, that.
Yosemite.
That's almost unforgivable.
Chris America wanting to know, on a scale of Weird Al to Batman's parents, how dead-ass serious are you guys about the NHL playoffs?
Batman's parents.
I was going to say I'm more dead than Martha.
Ouch. Yeah. No, honestly, man, I love the NHL playoffs. I've always loved them, but they're even better this year because, Patrick, they're even better this year because you're going like 3 games a night. They're so compressed because they're trying to get them in before next season that it's just like an overdose of hockey. What I really wish I had a better handle on was when they started a couple weeks ago and they're playing games at like 11 a.m. Because I only cussed like 3 or 4 times during meetings at work that week when I was watching hockey instead of paying attention to shit. But like, do it differently. I would have done I would have gotten the vasectomy and just sat up there right there and watched all this hockey.
Can we bring back the Winter Classic?
Yes.
It's coming back. I think they announced the teams for this next season. I want to say it's going to be in New York somewhere.
Wait, hang on. If we're not going to have, because there's talk about not having fans in games next year either. Like they don't know if they're going to be able to have fans in the stands.
So they're just changing the name to the COVID Classic.
Well, why don't we just do nothing but outdoor hockey? If no fans are allowed to be there.
I've been advocating for that for
Let's
years.
do that. Like, you don't have to worry about, you could just play on ponds. Like, just go play outside somewhere. I want to see, like, NHL caliber players playing on a lake in Minnesota with no fans around.
Lake Minnetonka.
Well played. I would love to do that. That would be fantastic. See Gordon Bombay triple deking.
Yes, drive the limo out onto the ice. He knows when you can drive on ice.
Man, the problem is that shit's expensive, and that's where it comes down. To keep ice frozen in, like, what is it? Think about it, man. Like, what? Detroit, it got to be 60 sometimes this last winter. And to keep frozen ice that frozen for that long, that shit ain't cheap. You can do it for, like, 1 game over a weekend, but it gets tough if we try to do the whole thing. I'd love to do outdoor hockey, but then we got to go to like the Northwest Territory or some shit.
All right, let's do it. There's no fans going anyways. Go for it.
I know where you ain't playing. Arizona.
Yeah, you definitely ain't playing outdoor hockey in Arizona, but maybe they do roller hockey.
But you getting your dick sucked.
And on that note, let's give a shout out to our sponsor, Boss Man Brands. Woo! Whether you're rocking a hockey playoff beard or a quarantine beard or that baby face, our friends at Boss Man Brands can help you out. From supplements to help your beard grow stronger and fuller to beard oils, pomades, and conditioners, Boss Man Brands 4-step process will get your beard looking its absolute best. And even if you don't rock a beard, they got razors and lotions to make your shave. Make sure your shave is buttery smooth. Head on over to craftrootsports.com/beard. It's craftrootsports.com/beard and use the code SPORTS at checkout to get 15% off your entire order. I gotta tell you guys, I got their jelly beard oil. It is so nice. I don't like beard oil normally because it's kind of runny. I use way too much of it, and then my face feels all greasy. You can control the jelly beard oil. It's a thicker beard oil. It goes on nicely. And also, I got some of the cologne. I went with the vetiver scent. Ooh, I'll just say, it works. It works. I'm gonna go need to
jelly for you.
I'm gonna need to go get that surgery I was talking about a little bit sooner. But it works. That cologne does its job. Head on over bossmanbrand.com or craftrootsports.com/beard. Use the code SPORTS to get 15% off your entire order.
Didn't your Catholic father teach you anything about pull and pray, for Christ's sake?
How do you think I got 2? Let's do some sip, chug, drain, pour, fellas.
Wait, we got to make a note of something here because Biscuit's got a great segment for next week. Top 5 hockey movies.
I'm all in on
Yep.
Yes, we're going to do that.
The one thing we'll have to decide before then, and please throw up in the comments here because you guys are already talking about it. Do we do the Mighty Ducks individually or are they done as a franchise?
Individually.
franchise.
What?
And that's why we got to figure that out before next week. But
all right, we're gonna
next week for the top 5 hockey.
Yes, we will. I just took a note. We are going to do top 5 hockey movies on next week's show. This week though, we're gonna do some sip, chug, drain, pour. This is our version of Marry, Fuck, Kill, where you can sip, chug, or drain, pour. I've got a couple different we'll call them themes for this week, fellas. So let's start with athletes, superstar athletes under 25. That's where we're going to go first. And this first guy was one who made a big name for himself this week, hit a huge buzzer beater in the bubble. He's making all the noise out there in Dallas, and that's Luka Doncic. By the way, when I looked at their jerseys real quick, I thought the Mavs were sponsored by the Chive at first. I didn't. I was like, wait, for real? Like, I know the Lakers are sponsored by Wish, and I think the Warriors are Rakuten or something. But yeah, the Mavs, it looked like they were sponsored by the Chive for a second. So we're gonna go Luka, and let's see, where did my screen go? Luka is gonna go up against everybody's favorite quarterback currently. No, not Joe Burrow. I'm talking about Patty Mahomes. And finally, we'll go baseball world. Another guy who's been making the rounds lately, that's Fernando Tatis Jr. So Luka, Patty, or Fernando. Scott, I will go to you first. Sip, chug, drain, pour. Luka, Patty, Fernando.
Bro, you coming out here with the hard-hitting ones right out of the
Right out the gate, baby. Right out the gate. And by the way, if you guys are listening, chime in. Let us know. Sip, chug, drain, pour. Luka, Patty, or Fernando.
I hate to say it, and I'm waiting. I'll wait for somebody to make the first comment that I would make if I were them in this situation. But I'm gonna have to drain poor Luka.
You would.
That 4-shot.
Yeah,
You
and then
would.
I'm gonna chug me some San Diego Padre Jr. Fernando Tatis, and I'll sip on that Patty Mahomes.
Sipping on that Patty. All right, that's I think that's a good choice. Drew, do you agree with that, or you got them in a different order here?
I got him in different order. I'm still waiting though. Where's Top Fan? Where is he talking about his boy Patty over here? I thought he would have been all over this shit, blowing up the comments left and right.
I
but-
No, it's okay.
Purposely
He's got an alert set, so he'll be back on in just a second.
Oh, okay, he's just having issues connecting. I get it.
Purposely put Patty in this for him because I knew it was going to be.
Yeah.
I also knew we were going to sip Patty. Like I felt like I'll just jump in
Oh
here.
no, actually no. I'll jump in there with my actual ratings because here's the thing. All MLS games have been postponed.
Wow. Interesting. We're going to talk about this boycott in a little bit here. We're going to get into that. We'll stick to sports in a little bit where
Well,
we
are
don't
we sure
stick
that's
to
a
sports.
boycott? Or are we maybe Nashville gave everyone COVID? You never know.
That could be.
I'm gonna sip Luka. I am going
would.
to chug Patty and drain poor Tatis. And I'm doing this purely on the longevity of their careers because the way that it is in baseball, it feels like guys spike and then they fall off. There's few people like Mike Trout that really stick around and carry that star banner for long. I'd say the similar thing with Patty Mahomes. Like, I don't mean to put any disrespect out there, but the guy's solid. He's great, but he's probably going to be at this level for maybe 3-4 years. Then either defenses or the game is going to change, or he gets knocked up with one bad injury, and then he's going to slowly decline.
Major League Baseball stars
gonna be around
for like
here forever.
20 years.
I was going to
bro.
say.
No,
that was a
it's
horrible take.
no,
on that
it's
one.
no, it's not. They're either here for 2 or they're here for 20. Like
Well, I
there's
mean that can
ton of
happen.
one-hit
in any-
wonders.
That can happen in any sport, though.
Nah, I feel
Look,
like
here's
honestly, I feel like there are so many flash in the pan stars in baseball. Like I'm just not convinced. Do
It's
it for
'cause you
3
hate
years and
baseball.
I'll sign up. No,
And
it's
that's
not 'cause I
and
hate
that's
baseball.
fine.
I watch Sports Center. I read ESPN and such.
What you're
I see what goes on.
What you're not taking into account, though, Drew, is that we are about to have the universal DH across the board going forward. Like this, they implemented it this year, and that will continue for the foreseeable future. So
But
somebody
see,
like
is
Tatis,
just based on his batting ability, or is it his flair? His
no,
style?
overall he is a great player. Like he's got a great game overall. But I'm saying that when you have that DH ability where as your glove starts to go, as the fielding starts to go, you can just shift and become a DH and still continue this amazing career. Albert Pujols is still playing baseball. Like he's still
Right.
out there
Hall of
DHing.
Famer Albert Pujols is still playing baseball. You're absolutely right about that.
I mean, fair enough. I'm just
Crash
saying.
Davis said back in the day, the difference between being in the bigs and down in Double A is one seeing eye ground ball, one dying duck in the middle of the outfield. Like it's that tight in the major leagues, and it takes a lot to stick up there and stay at that all-star level. So, where's Todd Frazier at?
But Todd Frazier was never this level of good. Like Todd Frazier won the home run derby and it was a big deal.
Is he good? Or is he just making splashes in a boring ass August?
No, he was good. Todd Frazier was good.
No, I'm talking about Tatis right now.
Like,
is he
Tatis?
really this good?
No, Tatis,
or is he just
Tatis
making news?
He is that good. No, he's that good. That dude
No, I
is,
mean, he's been talked about for like 5 years.
yeah,
now.
the dude is very solid. Let's see. So I'm gonna go sip Patty Mahomes. I'm gonna chug Tatis, and I'm gonna drain pour Luka as well in this.
I
one.
don't
So
even
Scott-
like drain pouring Luka though, because I think Luka's really good, and I'm really, really mad that the Kings decided, they'd rather have Marvin Bagley Jr. than because that's what the Kings do.
Also, Biscuit chiming in saying he's going to drain poor Luca just because of that stupid 90s song about the kid. He's sipping
I love that
Tatis and
song.
chugging Patty. I feel like sipping and chugging Patty and Tatis, you can flip-flop either one of those, and I'd be fine with that take. Let's move on
And you'd be
to
wrong.
let's move on to the swept teams edition. So this week we had a couple sweeps in the first round of the NBA playoffs. The first one that I've got lined up for you guys here is the Pacers. Pacers went out and got swept by the Heat. They lost that series pretty handily. Like, it was never really in doubt. Everybody thought that was going to be a close series, and the Pacers got swept out and actually fired their coach as a result of that. We are putting them up against the Sixers, and apparently when you trust the process, that process means getting swept by Boston. No real excuse from the Sixers on that one. They looked like dog shit all series long. Joel Embiid did not play well. I don't think he played well once in that whole series. And then finally, you have the Brooklyn Nets. They were swept out by the Raptors. Granted, that wasn't the real Nets team that it was supposed to be, that I picked to make it all the way to the NBA championship at the beginning of the year, mainly because KD and Kyrie were both out. Neither one playing. They're ready to go for next year. So, sip, chug, drain, pour, the Pacers, the Sixers, and the Nets. Drew, we'll go to you first.
This one is so much easier, in my opinion. And I'm assuming, well, I guess maybe I should have clarified, like, we're sip chugging and drain pouring their future options or just who the team is?
Just however you want to take it. I got no,
I'm going to go ahead and I'm
put
going
your
to
own
sip
spin
on
on
the
it, baby.
Nets because they'll wise up and get rid of Kyrie soon enough here, and they'll still have KD. Plus, like, they get to hang out with Jay-Z, like, all the time, right? So life is good over there. The Pacers, they'll be all right. Victor Oladipo, he'll come back, with 3 months off between now and the start of the next season. But I think that team's got a decent foundation, and I think that guy, he really can do a lot of special things. He's a 5-tool player, if you will, and he'll get it done. The 76ers, they are drain pour worthy every day. That's what they are. They're a drain pour that we all want to watch because they are a hot ass disaster, and I love to see it.
Guys, how many tools can you name for a 5-tool player? What are the 5 tools?
Screwdriver, wrench, drill.
I got nothing.
plane.
I like speed. I'm guessing speed, shot. I got 2 tools. I can name 2 tools.
So there's your finish at the rim, right? There's your mid-range jumper. There's your 3-point jumper. Then there's your
5-tool
zone
thing
and
was only
man
a
defense.
baseball thing.
I
Thank
thought
you,
so
Scott,
too.
Obviously.
I was just. I don't know what the tools are. I'm just trying to find out what the tools are. Scott, who are you?
Wait, no, is this a serious question for baseball? It's pretty straightforward, right?
No,
It's
for
your
basketball.
batting,
I was
your
talking.
base running.
I was talking basketball because you brought it up during basketball. I know you were
Yeah,
making a
'cause
joke.
I
I
was
was
trying to
flipping
allude
it
to your
back on
boy
you, Drew.
Tatis.
I was flipping it back on you.
Try to flip it back on me, man. I'm quick.
Scott,
Come at me.
sip, chug, drain,
Spider
pour.
monkey.
Sip, chug, drain, pour. Pacers, Sixers, and the Nets.
Well, I'm going to, I guess I'll sip on the Nets only because their future should be okay based on the fact that their 2 superstars were out. Like, and plus, losing that was, I don't think that was much of a shock based on how it was. Like, but I'm definitely drain pouring the Sixers. All we've heard about them forever is how good they were supposed to be, and they tanked and got all these draft picks, and they got Simmons and Embiid and all these guys, and it was all supposed to come together. They get swept in the first round and really were never a factor. I'm drain pouring the shit out of Philadelphia basketball. They haven't been worth a damn since Iverson. And I guess that means I'm chugging the Pacers. I mean, losing to Miami, it's kind of weak because I mean they're superstars. You know, if you really buy into Jimmy Butler as a superstar, I mean that's fine. But I guess it's better than losing to. You know, I mean, the Pacers did end up losing, or the 76ers did end up losing to Boston, who's like super legit. But yeah, I mean, it's Chug the Pacers by default because the most disappointing of these teams, hands down, is the Sixers.
I'm also going to sip the Nets for the same reason, just because I think this would have been a different series if KD and Durant were playing. Whether or not you like those guys, whether you can't deny what they bring to that team, and the fact that you build the team around these two guys and neither one of them are there, it's going to affect you 100%. So you got to sip the Nets because I think they have the best base going forward. I'm gonna say that I'm going to chug the 76ers, and I agree that all we've heard is trust the process, and they've not done anything since then, but I feel like they're still ahead of the Pacers, and mainly because the Pacers just fired their coach. Like that whole organization is in a dumpster fire at this point, which I feel like was a garbage fire, right? Like, do you guys agree with that firing? Considering he took that team to the 5 seed, in the playoffs in a very strange year, dealt with a lot of things that normal coach. I feel like you can't fire a coach for making the playoffs this season, regardless of what the outcome is, right?
Well, so
yeah, no, I feel like everybody should have got a mulligan for this season, like unless you were just entirely terrible.
One of the other things we didn't touch on here, I meant to, is that the Nets totally get a pass because they lost to the Raptors, who to me are probably one of the most complete teams out of the 3 here. Because Boston, I don't buy it. Like, they've been hit or miss the whole time. In Miami, I think they're good, but they're overachieving by a ton. So when you set them up against the people they played against and lost, like, you got to give a pass to the Nets in a sense.
Well, and you touched on exactly why I'm another reason why I'm drain pouring the Pacers, because I feel like out of the teams that advance, the Heat are probably the worst of the group. So to get swept by the worst remaining team, that automatically makes you dog shit in my book. So I'm drain pouring the Pacers. I'm gonna chug the Sixers and sip the Nets. Biscuit wants to just drain pour them all, and I think that's fair. That's a good take. Go ahead and drain pour all these dog shit teams.
No judgment, yeah, because they ain't winning anything anyways.
We'll go on to top selling jerseys. So this came out this week. Some of the top selling jerseys by sport. As of currently, and I'm surprised by this because for a long time, Tom Brady's jersey was up there for the NFL, but that has now changed. Tua has the top-selling NFL jersey currently. So Tua, we're going to put Tua up there. The next one that we're going to pick from is LeBron James, top-selling jersey in the NBA. And then we did a little, since we do that hockey so well here, we're such hockey fans, we are also including in this one Sidney Crosby, who has the highest-selling NHL jersey this season. Scott, we'll go to you first. I already know who you're going to drain pour, but I want to know who you're sipping and chugging when it comes to the jersey edition, Tua, LeBron, or Sid.
You do not know, my friend. I am absolutely sipping on the Crosby love as far as the hockey, because, I mean, what kind of hockey fan would I be if I didn't sip on some Sidney Crosby?
And I should
love me some Sid the Kid, especially Scott, since so many other hockey fans hate.
Let me apologize to you, Scott. I apologize to you and all of the dedicated hockey fans calling this the top-selling jerseys when that is clearly a sweater. That's on me, and I apologize. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry for disrespecting your sport like that. So you're sipping on Sydney. Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm sipping on Sid's sweater, and then I am actually going to chug on LeBron.
What?
What? Exactly. I told you were wrong. I do not advocate buying rookie jerseys. I don't care who it is, especially a rookie coming off a horrific injury. Like, I mean, that's a weird thing. And a Miami Dolphins jersey, they got one of the ugliest jerseys in the NFL. I mean, who's buying that shit? Is Alabama just down there just racking them all up? Or what the hell's going on? How is that one of the highest selling NFL jerseys? Like, even if you were going to buy a rookie jersey, it wouldn't be that one.
No,
it
would
be.
It would be a Joe Burrow jersey because he's the savior.
But I just seriously, I would never advocate buying a rookie jersey for any sport. I think it's insane to do. But a Miami Dolphins jersey is ugly no matter who's wearing it. So I'm drain pouring the shit out of Tua. I'll chug LeBron because I mean I gotta guess. Besides the wish joke that Matt Barr made this week in the Craft Brewed Sports group was
well done. It was well done.
And obviously, like I said, being the big resident hockey fan, I gotta sip on Sydney.
Drew, sip, chug, drain, pour, Tua, LeBron, and Sydney. Just a jersey, not player.
We need to figure out a way that we can play drops on our side through the podcast, because all I need is that half-baked boo this man clip right now with Scott and his bullshit Sidney Crosby thing. But so I think that makes it pretty clear what I'm drain pouring. And not even that, man. Like I'm gonna shred that thing up in a friggin' blender, feed it to my dogs, and drain pour their diarrhea about it.
Let's be honest though, Joe Sakic should still be the #1 selling jersey in the NHL. But go ahead.
Fuck that guy too. So between Tua and LeBron, look, man, hate me, but this is real. If I'm buying this jersey, I'm buying Tua's jersey before I'm buying LeBron's, because the public cannot handle my guns being out like that all the time.
That's a good point.
Like, I need a little something over those delts and to hide that behind. Otherwise, women and men alike would just be falling over themselves to get at this.
Oh, you got to rock the T under the NBA. You got to rock the T. It's a 100%.
You got to go JJ Redick style. So, you got to go JJ Redick.
I don't think I could do that.
So. No, you have to. I mean, doing the T-less NBA jersey, unless you're just jacked, it looks god awful.
I would agree.
That's what I'm saying, though. I was like, they couldn't stop coming at these guns, Scott. They'd want to just lick all up on them. That's why I got to go with Tua first as my sip, LeBron as my chug, and those were the only two options I think Mike presented.
Fair enough. I'm going to drain pour the Tua jersey because the Dolphins. First of all, the fact that that's the top selling jersey just shows what kind of bandwagon fans the Dolphins are, thinking that this is the savior of your organization. Now, screw you. Get rid of that jersey. That's getting drain poured. I am going to sip the Lakers jersey, the LeBron jersey, only because hometown connection, Akron, pretty close to Youngstown. So I'm going to go ahead and give that to LeBron. I'll say I'm repping my hometown. And then I'm going to chug the Crosby jersey only because I feel like that's a jersey you can only wear certain times of the year. Although I guess you could make the same claim about a basketball jersey. You're not wearing a basketball jersey in December, but you can, because that's when the season's supposed to happen. So year round you can wear a basketball jersey. You cannot wear a hockey jersey, hockey sweater, Scott, year round, because it's going to be too damn hot to wear that in August when it's 90 degrees. So I'm going to sip
like a true pussy. If it's a fresh enough jersey, you can do it anytime. Because I'll tell you what, I rocked my Charlie Conway in July, bitch.
That's a fair point. Biscuit saying that your guns are 22s, Drew. 22 calibers. All right, here we go. This is the last one we're gonna do in sip, chug, drain, pour.
At least they're not a 9 mil then.
This one was inspired by a post in the group. Jenny of Ohio, good friend who I think I've got a bet with coming up this weekend for FC Cincinnati.
This woman.
I don't know, but she had posted something about Sean Astin and people knowing Sean Astin from different movies depending on when they were born. So we're doing Sean Astin sip, chug, drain, pour. So we'll start off Sean Astin as Mikey in the Goonies. Second option here for you is obviously
that super action flick.
It's a kids action movie, Goonies.
Never forget.
I forgot all about that. Damn, bro.
As soon as you said it, I was like, if he brings up Goonies, I'm going action.
Damn, bro. That's well played. That's pretty good. All right, so
I forget that was him too, man.
Yeah, a lot of people do. A lot of people
he looked
forget
like a normal
was
human in that movie.
Well, and this is
by the way, Scott, your boys, the Braves, just went up 2-1 on the Yankees. Freeman went yard with a man on first.
You think I don't know?
He's already texting people talking trash.
I'm just trying to give you updates. I had to throw on TV because of what's his name saying all the MLS games got postponed. Well, talk about fake news, asshole. That's right. I fell for it.
All right. Let's see. Second option, on the Sip Chug Drainpour Sean Astin style is obviously Sean Astin and Rudy, one of the greatest movies ever made. And finally, Sean Astin as Bob from Stranger Things. And I just love the progression of Sean Astin in these pictures. Drew, I am going to go to you first. Sip Chug Drainpour Sean Astin Goonies, Sean Astin Rudy, Sean Astin Stranger Things.
So real quick shout out, no spoiler alerts because I ain't caught up on Stranger Things, and it's still within the 5-year window. So don't fuck with me on that.
Window.
Yeah, there's a rule. Isn't that the rule? Like you have 5 years to watch something before spoiler alerts just bunk. Whatever. Anyways,
5 years. Good Lord.
This is pretty clear to me. Obviously, you drain pour Sean Astin in Stranger Things. I mean, look at his fat ass. Like, basically right there, he looks like Rudy in present day. And I ain't got no need for that.
He looks
we don't
like
care about
actual
what happened
Rudy.
to Rudy after he got out of college football like any good student athlete, right? You come in, you win his football games, and you leave, and we never see you again, nor have to worry about you or your problems dealing with the fact you peaked when you were 22. Don't care. Don't want to sign up for it. Got nothing to do with that. So Drainpour Sean Astin as Kevin or whatever he is.
Bob.
Kevin
Kevin.
or Bob.
Kevin or Bob.
Kevin
are
or
both very
Bob.
appropriate names.
Just insert white guy name here.
Yeah. And let me just quickly look
Sean
at our
Astin
live
is Chuck.
viewers. Cool. No Bobs or Kevins. We're good. So, of course, then I'm going to have to chug him in Goonies, which I wish there was a way to sip both of those because just such an American classic film. But we all know that the right answer here is to absolutely every day sip Rudy.
You damn right. You
And
damn
I'm not
right.
going to waste any more words. It is what it is.
Scott, I'm going to jump in here. I agree 100% with Drew. You drain pour Stranger Things, Sean Astin. You chug Goonies, Sean Astin. Mainly because he wasn't the best character in that movie. He was up there. He was good. But let's face it.
He was too busy getting in on the action. I mean, there wasn't any time for him
True.
to actually act. He was too busy diving from explosions. and
Also,
whatnot,
he
so.
did
He
get
also
to.
looked like a normal human.
He got to kiss the hot girl in the movie when she thought she was kissing Thanos instead, but she actually kissed Mikey. So that was a big move for him. But Chunk is the go-to in that movie. So
Yes.
I'm gonna chug Sean Astin and Goonies, and then obviously sip Rudy because unlike what Ed Mayhall claims in the chat here that Rudy is overhyped, it is the greatest movie ever made. If you ever want to just have a good man cry, just throw on Rudy, and as soon as they lay those jerseys down, you're gonna get those man tears going. Scott, sip, chug, drain, pour, Goonies, Rudy, Stranger Things, Sean Astin.
Guys, we finally agree on something. We are absolutely in agreement on chugging the Goonies here. Like,
Wow!
I can't believe it. But then you dumb motherfuckers messed up on what you drain, pour, and chug, and we sip it on and drain, pour, and it's absolutely sipping Bob. He was amazing in Stranger Things, and fuck Rudy, that movie sucks. It's overrated. Notre Dame can suck these nuts, and I'm out.
Scott, we saved college football this year for you. You really gonna do us like that?
Also,
You heard me.
Also, let's give some listeners here a shout out. JB saying he's gonna drain poor Rudy because it's blatant revisionist history. He's gonna chug the Goonies and sip Stranger Things because his fat ass is dead and I don't have to watch him anymore. Suck your spoilers, Drew.
I mean, JB and I ended up at the same conclusion, but I actually liked Bob. He was pretty
Also,
good.
Biscuit also with the same conclusion of sipping Stranger Things, chugging the Goonies, and drain pouring Rudy. He says, "Fuck Rudy, I'm a Georgia Tech fan and have to watch them carry that ass hat off the field during our game."
Oh man,
I never thought about that. I never
Biscuit,
thought about.
that's a you problem, bro.
I
Like,
never
come on,
thought
do better
about
than
Georgia
that.
Tech fans having to like hate that movie because it happened to them.
I'm more
Why I'll
shocked
never
that
watch We Are Marshall.
I'm more shocked that I just come in contact with a Georgia Tech fan.
Right? I
What
didn't
the
think
hell
that
is that?
exists. I didn't think that was a thing.
Seriously.
The Ramblin' Wreck has fans outside of people who went to Georgia Tech. Weird.
Calvin Johnson posters on the wall, huh? All right.
Oh, rest in peace.
All right, this has been Sip Chug Drainpour. This was a very fun one. Guys, it is time to get very serious on this show. I wish I had some transition music or something to do here because actually let's do a quick thank you to one of our sponsors because it's about to get crazy and we need to do something to break up the everything here. Let's give a shout out to Dugout Mugs. It's what we drink our beers out of, everybody, and you should too. Head on over to dugoutmugs.com/craft. Baseball season is in full swing, kind of, and there's only one way every baseball fan should be enjoying their beer, and that's from a Dugout Mugs baseball bat mug. Head on over to dugoutmugs.com/craft and get 15% off your order. All of your favorite teams, customizable designs, wine glasses made from bats, bat shot glasses, and bottle openers made from baseballs. They got it all. Hit them up. dugoutmugs.com/craft. Also, they have like a tabletop baseball game that I'm so close to pulling the trigger on, man. It looks so cool. You like roll a dice and it tells you if you get a double play or a single or whatever, and you move these pegs around the bases. It just looks so good.
Dude, those games are so much fun.
I know.
Write it off as an education expense for teaching kids at home.
Oh, that's a good call.
To teach them about math and stuff.
That's the only way that kids are going to get into baseball. I'll tell you that much.
That's very true. That's very true. All right, so this is.
You said you were going to get serious. Are we going to talk about the Ted Lasso sitcom?
What? Who?
I'm pretty sure it's time to talk about Hard Knocks, baby.
Oh, I was gonna.
Jason Sudeikis, Tottenham football coach.
Oh, that's right. He does have his. That is. Pretty
I saw a commercial for that earlier, and I was like, that looks good.
That does look good. I mean, Jason Sudeikis, he doesn't really.
But it's on Apple TV, so it's like, what 5 people have that?
I
do.
I got you.
I do.
Oh, two. We'll
okay,
be good.
We got you.
Okay, cool.
No, I wanted to. We're not going to talk Hard Knocks. I mean, I guess we could.
Scott, we'll find it.
Do you want to go NFL or do you want to go college football first, Scott? I felt like we could go college and then graduate to the NFL.
Let's do college.
Did you hear what you said?
Okay.
Graduate. Those guys graduate, please.
So the AP rankings came out this week. They announced their AP rankings for college football, and for some reason, Ohio State is number 2. I didn't know that was a thing that could happen this year, but they have Ohio State at number 2. The AP rankings are just bizarre at this point. Like, you have teams that are not going to be playing football ranked in the top 25. As a matter of fact, included in the top 10, you have number 2 Ohio State, you have number 7 Penn State, you have number 9 Oregon. 3 teams in the top 10 are not playing this year. And when you expand it out and look even further, Washington's in there at number 12. You got Michigan at number 16, USC at number 17, Minnesota at 19. So there is just like Iowa.
It's going to be real awkward come playoff time when they're all undefeated. And they're up at the top of the rankings, but can't be in the playoffs.
Well, that's what I was wondering.
But Scott, that's exactly what it is, though. You understand how this works, right? Like, this is all really just the things that were below the surface rising up in the way that the polls in the preseason are built to gamify things, to elevate the SEC and William Sweeney because he's in their pocket. That's all it is so that in situations where teams would have played the Ohio States, the Wisconsins, the Penn States, whatever, they get an automatic win against a top 5 team. And then then their ranking goes up.
And the SEC is the only smart conference at this point. Never thought I'd say that. But they're the only ones that have figured out later losses hurt more. So pack your schedule early on with your big-time conference games so that you lose, and it's like, oh, I just lost to number 3, so it doesn't hurt me that bad, and you don't fall very far. And then at the end of the year, you play Little Sisters of the Poor before you have your one rivalry game that gets you into the SEC has figured out how to game this system. But
also, why are we always giving the Little Sisters of a Poor a pass? Because clearly you can't be the poor and get paid $750,000 to get your ass kicked by
Here's
Alabama.
the thing about Little Sisters of the Poor. They will schedule anybody. They play everybody, and I respect the hell out of that. That's a team that will play anybody. They play Bama, they play Notre Dame, they play everybody. Little Sisters of the Poor plays everybody. You gotta give them credit. Before we get into our rankings, I want to know,
Never forget App State, baby.
Is this the year that we get a group of 5 team into the playoffs? Considering you don't have a Big Ten champion to get in, the Pac-12 champion wasn't getting it anyways because it's the Pac-12.
I mean, let's be honest
but,
here, right? Like, exactly.
But and the fact that Notre Dame is playing in the ACC, so they're going to have to play Clemson and potentially play them again in a ACC championship game. That's going to knock out. Well, but that's going to knock out one of those too. So you have ACC champion, SEC champion, Big 12
or does
champion.
It set up an Alabama-Auburn rematch situation?
Well, I mean, I feel like that's what everybody will expect is 2 SEC teams to get in. But do you think this is the year?
No,
because
dude, I'm talking about Notre Dame and Clemson. Fuck the SEC. They get one. What? This is serious
Scott
question.
looking around is my favorite. The odd look to the side. But do you think like
what group of 5 conferences are still playing?
The AAC. The AAC is still playing, and UC and UCF are both in the top 25. So they have a legit.
What other Power 5s? Or are we just saying AAC?
I'm just saying AAC. Just if there is a group of 5 that gets in.
I think the most important question is, what do the rankings look like in week 2 for the teams that aren't playing?
Right? Like, do they just drop them?
Or do they just stay? Like they're just like, well, they didn't lose.
That's normally what happens when they have a bye. They either like move up ahead of somebody who lost ahead of them. Like I want Alabama to lose the first game, and then Ohio State becomes, or I guess Clemson is number 1. Clemson loses their first game, and then Ohio State becomes number 1. There are 21 people. 21 people voted for Ohio State to be number 1.
No, sure. This is what it's going to be. So Clemson is going to play their first game on a Saturday, right? And so Thursday they have their tests, and a bunch of dudes test positive, and like 60 of the guys on the team have to sit out. So they lose the game because they only field like 40-something people, and they lose the first game, but they stay at number 1 because you know what's going to happen? They're like, well, the COVID got them.
Yeah.
But
they'll
they're
make
still
excuses.
a really talented football team.
If they
That's
had
how it's gonna go down.
If they had everybody, they would have won that game.
If they had the whole squad,
I love rankings,
right? Like, you know what's going to happen is it's going to come out that basically the rankings are done by them simulating it all on NCAA football, which we don't get to play, but they use for the rankings. And then they only adjust after the fact to be like, nah, that one's fucked up. We got to fix that. But everything else, cool. We're good. We don't have to actually watch these real games.
Just bring back the BCS for one season. Why the hell not?
Sure, let's screw it at this point. Let's do.
You can't fix your schedule at this point, right? Like it is what it is, almost.
Right. Let's do our rankings because we are going to do. Here's the thing about the rankings. They don't matter. Like the NCAA, the NCAA does not. I don't know if you guys know this. The NCAA does not recognize a single national champion. So any organization could technically name a national champion, and the NCAA could potentially recognize it. Like that's why there's an AP national champion. That's why there's the
Yankees continue to suck.
That's why there's an AP national champion. That's why there's like the USA Today national champion. Like you could potentially have a format that gets picked up and the NCAA recognizes that as a national champion. So I think what we need to do is start doing our own polls. We're not going to do a top 25 list because that's way too much. So we're going to do our top 10. Drew, we talked about this before the show. We huddled up. We broke down schedules. We looked at depth charts. We examined all of the data. Drew, who is our number 10 this week? Preseason number 10.
This is us embarking upon a journey that will lead to a craft brewed sports national
champion. Yes.
We are going college football season.
But ladies and gentlemen, this is unprecedented. We have never made our own top 10, so this is the first time in podcast history the craft brewed sports top 10
200
is being released.
200 plus
All
episodes.
7 of you are witnessing history.
This is a big deal. This is a big deal.
No, sorry. All 4 of you, because we're all watching, are witnessing history before your eyes.
All right, Drew, who is number 10?
Coming in here at number 10 is, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, Michigan. Not the school. Not that school up north. You know, not those pricks in the navy blue and that yellow and that asshole with his slacks. No. The state of Michigan is coming at number 10. Like, look, let's be honest. Detroit was a COVID hotbed, but you know what? They did it better than anyone else could at the time. Flint, you still don't really want to get into the water there, so they're still selling bottled water by the millions. And realistically, the best thing to come out of the season is that Jim Harbaugh will not lose to Ohio State this year. So because of all of those reasons, Michigan, the state, both peninsulas, the upper and the lower, I don't know if this is the right way or whatever, but UP for life, baby.
Congratulations, Michigan. Number
Coming in
10
at number
on
10.
the initial Craft Brewed Sports college football rankings. Number 9 this year in our preseason top 10, the transfer portal. Listen, everybody, this is going to be a big factor in this college football season. We already have a lineman from UCLA who is he's entered the transfer portal. He's hoping to play in the ACC or SEC this season. It's just going to keep happening as we ramp up to the season. The transfer portal is going to take down more Pac-12 and big teams than tattoos or paying Reggie Bush. Transfer portal number 9. Scott, who's number 8?
Well, coming in at a solid number 8 is yards. And that's not the amount of yards that are going to be racked up this season, because let's be honest, this will be the lowest amount of yards in college football history based on the fact that there are a whole bunch of teams not playing.
Big 12 still playing. You're good.
Oh, well, yeah, that's fine. But even still, even the 200 yards a week that the Big Ten gathers. But we've got the yards, which are the front and back parts of all of our yards. That's right, because we're going to be able to do yard work this Saturdays. I expect championship yard work to come out of every single house on every single street. That's where the real competitions are going to be on Saturday. Your neighbor, Bob, who's over there beating your ass because he trimmed his hedges at 8 o'clock in the morning. And you didn't get out there till 3. And I've got no excuse. You got no excuse because Ohio State isn't playing that noon game. Get your ass out there and fix up your yards. Yards are coming in at number 8 this week.
Get them green stained New Balances ready to roll. Yards at number 8. Drew, who's number 7?
What I really don't understand is how Bob can be that fat and still trim those hedges every day like that.
He does work. He does work.
I will say this though, really, let's keep an eye out on yards because they could sneak up if that side yard gets put on point. So just keep an eye on them to move up quick and move up early as things go down early.
Yards have a great trajectory ahead of them this college football season.
They've got opportunities.
They've got a soft
on
schedule
schedule
on the back end. That's for
right.
sure.
They do.
Exactly.
They
so
really
do.
do.
Because I mean, you stop paying attention to them once it gets cold outside. But the early part of their schedule, that's where they're beating ass.
It's rough. I mean, and not only, let's face it, the heat normally takes out yards anyway. So it's going to be tough for them in the early going. But if they can get through,
watering and doing stuff, like they're looking better now than they ever have.
If they could get through the first part of the season, they stand a chance.
Speaking of which, wives and kids are coming in at number 7 here, and I expect them to hold strong, hold tight, but I just don't know that they have that top end ceiling they need to make that playoff push. There's a lot of opportunities still, but with us all being at home, with college football not being on the TV all the time, with pro football being truncated and probably compressed down, there's going to be a lot less drunk assholes rolling around. Mm-hmm. So honestly, wives and kids may have a real solid showing this season. Keep a watch out for how family time on the weekends and maybe even Monday nights might spike them to be a top 4 team coming to the latter end of the season.
Could be what's going to
wives and kids in number 7.
What could hurt wives and kids though is the fact that now husbands are required to be around their wives and kids more, and the wives and kids could get sick of them a lot more. So
and they realize that dad really is a dick and he should drink.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, I mean, when they're taking care of their yards, I mean, how much time are they really spending?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
See, that's different though, Scott.
I feel like at the end of the season, yards is going to have.
That's a very
right
good point.
Over wives.
Well,
and kids.
and yards and wives and kids, they've got that conference championship game down. Look, the rankings sort themselves out at the end.
It's
okay,
true,
and eventually,
but that's why we put them next to each other to start.
They're right there.
Because they're equal, and we'll see how things play
Look,
out.
and this isn't a dad bias on the show, okay? This is just how the rankings. We looked into this. We studied the data. This is what it is.
We pulled Joe. He abstained.
He did. Very weird. He just read the tweet and then didn't respond. Number 6 this preseason ranking, Mississippi coaches. And by that, we are talking about Leach and Lane, 2 favorites here on this show. We love these guys. Other conferences.
That's the buddy cop movie I want to see.
It really is. And thank you for stealing the joke at the end of the description. I appreciate that.
Oh, son of a bee. I didn't even see that. Oh, son of a bitch.
Other conferences are shutting down. Leach and Lane.
Laugh.
Leach and Lane still get a chance to go after Saban and the rest of the SEC. They're going to be pulling in those guys from the transfer portal. Mike Leach came out and said he's got the cure for hiccups already. You just take a teaspoon of sugar. Look, these guys
The fuck is he, Mary Poppins?
Exactly. These guys they're just constant content. Between leech pooling on lanes, mask and an event encouraging Mississippi residents to take things seriously, to their outspoken nature. These two are going to get a reality TV show before this is all over. Mississippi Coaches number 6.
I mean, Lane Kiffin is the official head coach of Craft Brewed Sports.
He really is. He really is. I mean, you got to love Lane.
Well, not that I would win, but we didn't vote on that.
We didn't have to. He's the official.
He's not at
coach of
USC
Craft Brewed
anymore. You can
Sports.
like him.
Well,
Joe.
I was going to say,
he's not at
there's two
USC.
of you, one of me, and Joe abstained, so I'm fucked
Yep,
anyways.
you're out.
But I just want to
you're-
make it known.
Scott, who's number 5 in our college football rankings?
Well, football is still going to happen in some capacity, and I guess that means that college game day is still happening. At least that's what they're saying. So everybody's still going to get to see the gang come to the city, and Lee Corso is going to be along with them. Now, this
You mean
old
Lee Corpso? Because that's
yeah, I was
going
gonna
to
say Corso's been struggling for the past few years, and that was before COVID. So imagine Corso going city to city in the hotbed of the South, where they're probably going to be for all of these games. Because if you're limited in the Big Ten, that means they'll just be like, all right, I guess we're just going to the SEC. So they're probably just going to hang out down there where COVID.
The northernmost point would be South Bend.
Yeah, and they won't do
most
that,
likely.
and they won't do that because those games are going to be on NBC, so they will never go to a Notre Dame home game.
But Corso is from that Dick Clark club where it's just like, man, you think every year Lee Corso's probably not gonna last much longer, but he keeps hanging on. So right now we got him at number 5, hanging on through COVID and making it through this season.
Look,
at
man,
least alive.
2020 already
least
took
alive.
Regis from us. They can't take Regis and Lee. There's no way.
And that's exactly what Corso was probably thinking. As soon as Reed just croaked, he's like, I'm good. I'm making it to 2021 at least.
You know what? Mookie's hot bets right here. Put down a stack on Corso making it to 2021. Now his ass going to die at 12:01 a.m. Jan 1, but that don't matter.
Biscuit making the joke I was going to make. He said Corso should just leave the mascot head on because of COVID. I was going to say he's got a mask. He's wearing a mask. You do a socially distanced set, and then he puts the mascot mask on and just leaves it on through the whole show, and he's fine. Corso, is he just on strings
though?
at this
That might
point?
be the sneaky thing, is wearing those dirty ass masks with all those sweaty mascot, college students wearing that stuff before may have made him immune to it.
It's very possible. He could live to be 212. Drew, give us numbers.
How is this going to hurt Herb Street's Herb Street?
Herd Street?
Got it.
Heard
Man,
heard that?
12%. Yeah, heard that. How's this going to hurt his game with the co-eds?
That ain't gonna suffer.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. Let's face it.
He ain't got to worry about that.
Herb Street.
That's pandemic proof, baby.
I want to say, speaking of not worrying about suffering, we got Clemson and Bama coming in at 4-3, because our favorite assholes of the South could never, ever be stopped from playing football, winning games, and talking about the program in the process. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Nick and William, they will be competing in the college football playoffs this next year, no matter what. We could see a situation where those two motherfuckers are going to be playing out there doing two-hand touch, figuring out rules with dummies and, 5 Mississippi counts on the rush. They will be playing because that's what Nick and William do. So that's why Clemson and Alabama come in at number 4 and number 3. Fuck you both.
But most importantly, neither of them think it's about the money.
It's not. It's about player safe. They're safer on campus than they are at home.
It's about these kids growing as young
men. They're molding these players into men. That's what they're doing.
Future leaders of America.
That's what they're doing.
Important life lessons.
They are not using and abusing college players to get rich. They are just using college players to entertain other people.
I was going to say, neither of them is sleeping on a bed of diamonds every night while the kids...
That would be very uncomfortable, right? That would be super uncomfortable, a bed of diamonds.
When you make that much money at the expense of somebody else.
I feel like you could
because,
go...
Mike, they're like really finely ground down.
Oh, okay. It's like diamond dust.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I mean,
that's
of
fair.
course they make it comfortable.
That's fair. Number 2 on our top 10, the NBA Bubble. Surprise showing here in our preseason top 10. But the NBA Bubble, look, it's been entertaining. It's been a source of great content. It's working. The NBA Bubble has all of the intangibles that you really look for. Very strong showing, lands them high in the rankings. What's going to struggle is the fact that it's going to go away here soon, and we don't know what's going to happen as the bubble starts coming back. But the NBA Bubble preseason number 2, I don't know if they're going to be able to hang on to the ranking, but it's definitely a strong starting for the NBA Bubble.
Look, man, as long as we get Russ and James just chopping it up, we'll be good.
We got to get some more of those
Those
pool
poolside
parties.
talks,
Yeah,
right?
Pool parties. Scott.
Also, have you seen this NBA playoff bracket? It's the craziest looking ass thing with Portland and Memphis playing a 1-game series there.
I want more play-in games. I want a play-in game every year. Give me play-in games all the time.
Spoken like a true Dayton fan. Yeah, throw that
Scott, who is our number 1 in the first ever Craft Brewed Sports college football poll?
It is my distinct honor to reveal the number 1 because I have been calling this since the spring games. I knew back then that this up-and-coming freshman, there was no way that they were going to be stopped. And they're like little sisters of the poor. They'll play anyone. The only difference is they beat everyone. Hell, they've already taken out 2 of the top 5 power conferences. That is none other than COVID. COVID is the number 1 preseason ranked team, and I highly doubt that it'll lose the top spot, not even by accident. COVID will be standing there when all the dust settles and everybody else is left. COVID is your number 1 team going into this season.
I mean, COVID's going undefeated, right? There's no doubt about it. COVID is taking out everybody.
In fact, COVID might cancel the season early. So, I mean, it'll be the first champ at mid-year.
Oh, there you go. First ever champion. That's a bold claim, Scott. And you know what? I can't even argue the fact. I think you're right. I think COVID takes this title handily this year. It's going to take a massive effort for anybody to knock COVID off.
Where I'm really struggling with this, though, Scott, and again, Mike said earlier, we talked pre-show, we really aligned on these rankings and put a lot of effort into them. And then I went to Vegas and tried to find a book to take that action. Help me out, man? How do I do that? Like, how does one
Vegas
put money down
knows.
on COVID to win it all?
I would say over under Halloween season being over.
Word. All right, cool. That helps a lot, actually. I appreciate that.
There you go. The first ever Craft Brewed Sports college football top 10. We will name our own national champion, and I will petition the NCAA to recognize that national champion because they will. If you look, it'll say like AP.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how hard can that
BCS.
be, right?
No, I don't
We
think.
probably just got to fill out some forms and shit, right?
Yeah, like we could totally do this, and I know I normally say I'm gonna do something and then I don't do it, but I'm going to try to figure this out to get us recognized as a college football.
If it involves
pollster.
punching Mark Emmert in the face, I'm in.
I feel like we have to pay money. Like I think that's what it's going to come down to, and I'm not going to do that.
I feel like it's different though, in the sense it's more of like Hercules deeds. Like we don't punch Mark Emmert, but we punch 5 people on behalf of him.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
So we go and like we kick Jim Harbaugh on the balls, right?
I'm out.
We go. Oh.
All right.
Don't want to kick Jim Harbaugh on the balls?
No, Scott's
Nope,
a
not even a
Niners
little
fan.
bit.
He loves Harbaugh. Come on.
Oh,
To
yeah.
Jen.
Wait. So
Come on,
John's the one in Michigan then?
No, Jim.
Jim is the one in Michigan.
Jim-
What the hell, man?
Wait, time out.
12%.
All right, let's have
No.
Let's have Drew do that college football.
Let's do that college football. You don't want to kick the Michigan coaches.
No,
nuts.
because he used to coach at San Francisco, and Scott loves him.
Yes, like we've been over this.
Drink responsibly.
This isn't new news.
Drink
Yeah, but he's not
responsibly.
there now.
Drink responsibly.
Doesn't matter. You get a lifetime pass for what he did.
He
Drink
also didn't
responsibly.
do you anything.
Let's
Took
talk
us
Hard
out of
Knocks.
the doldrums, man.
Let's talk
Yes,
Hard Knocks.
please, let's talk.
Okay,
Hard
I know.
Knocks.
Listen, we had talked before about how we were going to do hour and a half shows. We were going to stop at 9:30. I feel like we need to talk Hard Knocks and we need to talk this boycott. Like we can't close out the show not talking about. I know that was like going to be the thing, but we have to talk about that. So let's do
We
Hard Knocks
absolutely-
now. Let's talk Hard Knocks. We'll do a couple minutes there, and then we'll talk boycotts before we close out the show. So this week we saw training camp continue. Still no preseason games, which is making it's a weird Hard Knocks season. I'm not gonna lie.
It is a struggle.
I don't like watching just practice over and over again. I stand by my quick assertion that was made last week that what's his face, the young dude who's getting cucked by his wife, whose fiance is cheating on him. Why can't I think of the dude's name?
Jared Goff?
No, the coach.
Oh, Sean McVay?
Sean McVay. Thank you. God, I couldn't come up with that.
But I'm pretty sure that Jared Goff is also.
Yes, probably. I continue to think that Sean McVay is nothing more than just a young John Gruden. He's annoying. I hate him so much. He's never going to be that great. He says the same bullshit that John Gruden does. I can't stand him.
And he's going to get hired by 1 billion teams after this and be highly sought after, but never actually win anything.
Because he will totally go into broadcasting and be a decent broadcaster, but he is going to be that guy that just... I hate that we're going to have to deal with Sean McVay for a long time because it's nothing but Grudenisms from that dude. Scott, you were very excited about this episode. You thought you took a lot out of this one.
Oh, my God. I took so much. But most importantly, I want a rap battle between Melvin Ingram III and Dame Dollar or Dollar Dame, or whatever we're calling him, because that was the most fire part of the entire show. It's like, okay, so... people are really probably sick of seeing Zoom meetings by now. Spoiler alert. Yes. So they decided they're going to follow Melvin Ingram to the studio where we got him spitting bars. And I'm like, man, I mean, this is at least interesting. So I my first thought was Dame Dollar and Melvin Ingram got to get.
I'd love to see that.
With masks and social distancing, but they definitely have to have like a.
Can we get a versus between them?
Ooh,
instead of Brandy versus Monica, can we do Dame Dollar and Melvin Ingram?
I'm all about that. I also really enjoyed the Chris Harris shit talk about covering Keenan Allen. And
that was so
good. and him being like, all they showed, of course, for the effect was, all right, well, we're going to show Keenan Allen after we talked him up, and they show him beating Chris Harris. And then Chris Harris immediately says, hey, well, I beat him 12 out of 17 times they showed, so it's all good. It's all good. And I was like, that's prime DB shit talking going on right there. DBs are all about that shit talking life where it's like they'll get beat 12 times, but on that 13th one, they take it to the house. They're like, yeah, I'm the best corner there's ever been.
The quarterback just has to overthrow the wide receiver, and the DB's like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. It's like, bro, you didn't even do anything there. It's like,
he did a lot of work making sure that he cut off his route early.
Right, except it was a screen pass, and the quarterback totally misses the target. The DB's like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's like, bro, okay.
But
hey,
my absolute...
They're just playing for not a completion because these dudes wish they could catch, but they
true.
don't. That's why they're on that side of the ball.
No matter what happens, the DBs just live to throw their arms out with the,
absolutely.
That's it.
Yes.
No matter what happens, whether it was because of something they did or not, they're like, yeah, that's right. I shut them down. They can't catch it with me. But my favorite part about Hard Knocks this week is you're seeing 2 LA teams, and who is one of the last people on earth that you would think would pop up in Hard Knocks in 2020, but motherfucking Brett Favre on a Zoom call. Oh my
excuse me, Papa Brett. Please use this Christian name.
That moment was when I text you and said, I got jokes, because I was waiting to be like, hey, you're going to show Jen Sturger on this? Hey, Brett, why don't you whip out your dick on this Zoom call and see if you get a little action going? Like,
I don't know who that dude is. He was a 7th round pick. Like he's likely he could not make the team. It's very possible, but like they're building him up. He's the
linebacker from Baylor.
Yeah,
he's the white kid that like average white people can latch on to because they can't associate themselves with it. But they're like, oh, I can get behind this hard-working Baylor.
He's a gym rat. And there's always like they always take two guys who are on the fringe and they follow both of them. And 9 times out of 10, one of them goes and one of them stays. So you got that cornerback that
Dude,
was
9 times out of 10, they both get cut.
no, there's always one that it's like, oh, that my guy made it, or oh no, my guy didn't make it, and this guy made it. Come on. So you got that cornerback that it was like making all the jokes
my God,
about
for the Rams. That guy's so fucking annoying.
He's super annoying, but that's the one side of it, and then you got this linebacker who's he won't swear. Why are you not swearing? You're a goddamn NFL linebacker and you won't swear. If he says shucks one more time, I'm gonna fucking break my TV. It drives me nuts. But this dude is just like when they showed his draft party where he got the call when he got drafted, and he's like, let's go, coach. Let's do this. I'm pumped. And he said something about grabbing his nuts. I don't know. It was very strange. And then found out that he was like, no, he didn't swear. And then found out.
He just grabbed his nuts.
And then we find out he's got a tie to Brett Favre. And it's like, oh, man, this dude is the
just
worst.
Ruined it. But I think my favorite is it Juju? Is that his name? The undrafted free agent at the Rams side with the toothpick. I'm all about that dude. The dude with the toothpick.
I like that
he's out here rocking a toothpick with his mask on. I was like, Dusty Baker Jr. out here is my new favorite on the show.
He wore a toothpick. He wore a mask and put a toothpick in. That's so good. Drew,
he's absolute favorite.
Drew, catch up on Hard Knocks, please, so that you can join in next week. There's only a couple episodes left, so catch up.
I'll do what I can.
Well, and if Sean McVay is the cuck of the show, then it's definite. It makes total sense that his quarterback Jared Goff is the simp of the show. This is my beautiful girlfriend. And it's like even she was like, "Good God, man." So fucking like Jared Goff is exactly what I've thought about him since he got into the league. Like this dude that tries to rally people. Like he doesn't inspire any type of confidence, and the only reason he succeeds is because he's got a quarter. And I will give McVay credit. Like he is an offensive mastermind. And that's the only reason is Goff is a system quarterback. But otherwise, there's nothing inspiring about that dude. There's nothing about him that you're like, yeah, this guy would lead me into battle and we'd win because of him.
What'd you think?
He'd lead you into a. Well, never mind. We didn't go there. It's fine.
Into an Asian bathhouse.
What'd you think of Lynn's,
all I know is Sean and Jared are much closer than I would really want to admit, and there's a reason their wives are cucking them.
What do you think of Lynn's wide receiver coach who was featured heavily in this week's episode? The dude who
right off the jump, there's always that guy who's like, man, you know how I'm going to make my name on this show? I'm going to cuss a whole
I'm going to be football guy. I'm going to be football guy. And this dude's like, you got to block somebody. I've said it nice. I've said it mean. I've been nice. And I'm like, dude, you are such a douchebag. Like, what a douchebag. You want to make this team? You want to make this team? You block somebody.
He's the definition of like football. He's what everybody thinks about every football coach ever. He's the caricature of it because he's just like, this is life-changing money you can fucking make out here. And all you got to do is fucking block. You won't be a Charger. Not on Anthony Lynn's Chargers. Not if you don't fucking block. And I was like, dude, I love this guy because he's so over the top. And of course they use that for the intro. And my thought was, I bet this is the most entertaining part of this whole show. And I was absolutely right.
I did like when they cut to Lynn in his office and he's like, yeah, you just got block. I tell the offensive coordinator every week, feed him because he blocks. It's like, God damn it. Is that like that's how you're judging your wide receivers?
That's how the Chargers are gonna win this year. They're gonna block.
They're gonna have blocking wide receivers. That's what's gonna do.
They're just gonna block. Everyone's gonna block.
But
they'll all be able to block.
The most underrated part of the show was during the credits, just before it faded to black, with the offensive lineman that got caught on camera with his straw flipping his drink back into his face as he looks around the room trying to see if anybody saw it, and then finally realizes the camera was on him, and he points to the camera, and I'm like, fucking great right there.
By the way, I didn't realize that Facebook automatically adds subtitles, but Biscuit's saying the subtitles on here keep replacing cuck or cucking with cook and cooking, which changes the whole conversation. Well, you know what they say, that cuck can cook. So let's all right, let's
Oh, man,
Switch
you
it,
might
switch
just
to
break
cook?
Facebook right there.
I might have broken Facebook, their
You might break
logarithm.
it.
All right, so I do want to get serious for a second because this is there's been a shift in sports that happened today. Like it literally happened before we got on with
Like
the show.
4 or 5 hours ago.
We were like ready to go, and there was stories coming out about the Celtics potentially boycotting tonight, not wanting to play the game, and then out of nowhere, which nobody was talking about, the Bucks decided they're not coming out on the court. The clock hit 0. The Bucks were nowhere to be found. The game was delayed, eventually postponed, and it all centers around the shooting in Wisconsin, where a dude was shot 7 times in the back. The NBA has been forefront. They've been the only league that has really been forefront in terms of social justice since the return. You've got players wearing messages on their backs. You've got the court says Black Lives Matter. You have people who are taking their post-game interviews and taking that opportunity to talk about social justice issues. So the NBA has really been forefront. So to see these guys basically say, look, we aren't playing. There are bigger things in the world than what we are doing on this court is a pretty big statement, especially when it comes to like the playoffs. Like we're not talking about a regular season game here. We're not talking about, some garbage game between the Lakers and a team that isn't going to make the play. We are talking about the Eastern Conference semifinals, and a trip to the Eastern Conference semifinals that they are just saying, no, we're not in this at this point. In
a bubble where they've put a lot of fucking effort in to figure out how to play these games safely to begin with,
Right.
with a lot of scheduling concerns, TV media concerns, a lot of extra shit's gone into this on top of playing a game.
Yeah,
These guys said, nope.
I will, and Scott, I'll go to you in a minute here, but I feel like I want to address the people who are saying, what does this prove? Like, what is the point of this? Why would you do this? What do you hope to accomplish with this? And I from my perspective as a white dude, it comes off to me like the way I see this is these guys are saying, look, and Drew, I'm sorry to bore you. I apologize.
Dude,
Good Lord.
It's the 12%, man.
Get a goddamn
Hard
Red
Knocks
Bull.
and the 12%.
What are you doing, man?
We should have knocked this shit out the start of the show. Like, I don't know why we had the last 90 minutes where there's one other person watching besides us, but
so I feel like what this message is and what I take from this is these players are saying, look, if you don't value Black lives to the point that you will not stand up and protect them and make changes in order to keep people from being shot in the back 7 times by police, regardless of what the situation is, 7 times in the back is insane. If you can't accept the fact that these lives matter too, then you don't get us as a product. You don't get to enjoy what we do for a living. You don't get that escape from reality because we don't get to escape this reality. Like, this is the statement that was made today by these players, I feel like goes beyond anything that anybody has done up to this point. Like, yes, and Gabe chiming in saying this was more than what Cap did. Yes, Cap knelt and he sacrificed his career, and that was big. The fact that this was a unified thing, the fact that a bunch of teams joined in on this, the fact that there was more buy-in and everybody was in on this, and the statement that I took away from it, 100% agree. This was gigantic and a huge thing. I don't know what comes of this. I don't know what the next step is, but the bottom line is if you are not hurting the money, if you don't affect the money, you don't affect change. And the players realize that they can affect the money. So if they're affecting the money, the NBA, and granted, the NBA is the league that has been forefront on all of this, but maybe this persuades the owners to do more than what they've been doing up to this point.
Well, and it wasn't just the NBA. They were the first ones to start it. The NBA started it. The WNBA piled on. MLS piled on. Some MLB teams piled on. That's where I'd really want to see it, because that's where them crackers live, is in baseball. And you start canceling that stuff, and then maybe that moves the needle. Maybe you see some actual visibility. The problem, the thing that discourages me and makes me really disappointed is that the NBA's ratings are plummeting this season. And they've done studies, and it's because Republicans aren't tuning in anymore.
But
And
wait,
those are the motherfuckers that
hang on,
are cause. I'm saying it like it is, man. This is how I feel, and if you want to jump in, that's fine. But the people that need to hear this and understand this and recognize like this is not okay, have already tuned out.
That's
and
fine.
That's what pisses me off.
And I'm with you on that. You're like, this isn't essentially preaching to the choir thing, because the people who are watching and consuming the NBA are already on board with the messaging that's going out there. However, to say their ratings are plummeting, yes, but everybody's ratings are plummeting. Like we're in a time where ratings are fucking crazy.
I understand that. It's not that. They've corrected for the way the ratings are plummeting based on the current climate. They're further down because of the demographic that is tuning out because of the social activism. And that's why, to me, I love the fact that the NBA started it, because then other leagues where you cannot escape it are getting on board, and it is building. And what's really going to be impactful, and what I would love to see, is as the NBA stars continue to push on this, the NFL gets involved. Because if this gets its way into football and players within that sport do the same things, then it's unavoidable. If there are no sports, not because of COVID, but because we need to fix something that is fundamentally broken their society, then you cannot ignore that. And that's when the money starts to hurt.
Well, Drew pretty much stole exactly what I was going to say.
Sorry,
NBA...
I'm still awake.
No, you're fine. It's the trickle down effect, right? So
Right.
the NBA they're out front, and they're really, and they're a predominantly black sport. But when you look at the two most predominantly black sports, it's the NFL and the NBA. And the NFL is the one that makes the most money and has the most eyeballs, and has had the most kind of controversy surrounding all of this, going back to Cap starting it all. And if I hope to God that the NFL players right now are watching this and saying to themselves, or getting together and saying, look, this season is supposed to kick off without a preseason. All we've gotten up to this point of NFL football since the Super Bowl ended is Hard Knocks. If they on opening week decide, if any of them say, we're not going to do this, that's the domino. That's the final one that will fall that could possibly do anything to fix all of this, or at least get the ball rolling in the right direction to fixing all this, because that's the breadwinner. And I hope that that's the case. But you can't do anything but applaud the NBA players for it, even if everything has been bastardized and abbreviated because of COVID. I mean, imagine if this had happened during quote unquote regular times. I mean, obviously they wouldn't be playing right now because the season wouldn't be going on. But if this had happened in the playoffs in May when things were going on normally, like how much of an impact that would have. But still, the fact that those Republicans may have tuned out, or the people that don't watch for whatever stupid reason, they're going to hear about this. Like they can't avoid it. They can ignore the NBA all they want on a nightly basis, but they can't ignore the fact that this will now enter the news as they're not playing these games, and here's why. So that gets the ball rolling, and it's great to see that these guys are willing to sacrifice that. And, I know that, people can say all they want about how this is bigger than Cap, but it all goes back to Cap. Cap is the one who started all of this. And he started it before COVID. He started it before things had gotten out of hand like they had in society now. Because, I mean, it's only gotten worse since Cap started doing what he did, in my eyes.
Has it? Or are we just more aware?
No, we're more aware, but I mean, I feel like it's gotten worse, just like the tension in society, like it's gotten worse because of it. And so it's all like coming to a head with this right now. And I just hope that it continues to move that way. And I mean, it's sad to say, but it is going to take the NFL to actually move it.
It is. And like, that's what's sad, is that like, I'm going to call like I see it. Unless you get into NASCAR, the NFL is the only place these rednecks are going to see it. That's what it comes down to. People who just think this is just people bitching about another situation while he's in the wrong place, or he should have listened. Like, no, man, fuck that.
But
like,
here's the problem with that, Drew. I agree 100%, but here's the problem. Those people who will make those excuses and who will point to whatever rationale they can come up with to justify killing someone because, or in this case, severely injuring someone and permanently paralyzing them because of whatever reason, because they will always back the blue. No matter where this message goes, whether it goes to the NFL, whether it go, whatever the case may be, it's going to fall on deaf ears. Like those people have taken the approach now where they're just like,
no,
I
that's
won't.
What I'm saying
then I'm not on board with your I don't watch football anymore. Then, like that's the stance that they're going to take.
Don't watch football because you know what? Not watching football is going to do is it's going to hurt the money, right?
Right. No,
like
I get that.
If you take those eyes away from NASCAR and they, the dip sponsors, the cigarette sponsors, the Bush sponsors, whatever you want to call it, and they lose money, then they will drive the change.
I get that,
and they
that's
don't give
fine.
a fuck if those people come back. But that's what's going to finally get.
That's
fine.
Motivated. No, that's fine. That's fine on that scale. But I think the bigger issue is the people who need to hear this message are tuning it out, regardless of where it comes from. If the NFL players say, that's it, we're sitting out, we're not playing this. Like, let's say the first week of the NFL, teams say we're boycotting and we're not going to play for these same reasons. Exactly what happened in the NBA. All that's going to happen is exactly what you talked about with the NBA. Ratings are going to plummet. Yes, the NFL will have to adjust things and they will have to change how they market their product and how they do things. But the people who need to fucking change aren't going to listen because they are just going to tune out the message. And that's the problem that we need to get across.
That's fine. I don't care.
What we need,
people out my police force. Keep those people out my justice system. Keep those people out of the places that make these a problem.
What we need, Drew, is we need white players to fucking start stepping up and saying this shit. Because these rednecks and these people who refuse to listen to the NBA players, who refuse to listen to Cap,
they don't listen to them either. Then.
They will only listen when Brett Favre fucking says it, when Captain Lee, when Mr. Dungarees, when he says it. They're only
when Drew Brees says it,
when Tom Brady says it. Like those are the athletes that need to step up and deliver this message, because otherwise they are not going to. The people who need to hear it will just dismiss it. Like this is the start, and I'm glad that the NBA is doing this, but the next step has to be white athletes stepping up and saying the same fucking thing. They have to deliver the same message, and they have to stand in solidarity, and they have to say enough is enough. Otherwise, people are just going to tune it out, period.
That's fine. I completely agree. It's got to be needed front. It's got to be, everyone needs to understand what this matters for and what this means. Like it's not a cheap thing. This is important. But you know what? Like I'm not worried about changing Billy Bob's mind in the trailer. I'm worried about the guy in that squad car. I'm worried about the judge on that bench. And those things need to change first. Because if those things are fixed and they are fair and they are the way they should be to protect our citizens, then Billy Bob don't fucking matter.
But Billy Bob and the people who
ain't gonna change his mind. He is too well ingrained. But you
Billy
start changing the systems that oppress our people for no other reason than being who they are, and we will see the change of the Billy Bobs. They will decrease and they will die off.
The systems are in place.
Police forces right.
The systems are in place, and the systems are the way they are because the Billy Bobs of the world won't question it.
Our systems are in place because of money, man. They're in place because of money.
I can't argue that.
Our prison system is a for-profit system.
I can't argue that.
Period. End of sentence.
I can't argue that.
Fix that kind of stuff, and then all this other crap.
I think we should close this out by saying hats off to the NBA for doing what they did.
Yes,
I think that was a ballsy fucking move of those guys to say we are not playing in a meaningful game, in a meaningful spot, under intense pressure because of all the things that went in place to get this to happen, for them to say, nah, there's things that are bigger than us right now that need
and
the
think about
focus.
the most prominent star from that team too, Giannis. I mean, he's not even from this country originally. So, I mean, that's another thing where it's like people from outside of this country who have ingrained themselves in our culture are like, what the fuck is wrong with this place? Like that's a huge thing to have, foreign born people come in, ingrain themselves, and then say, this is insane. This isn't how it should be.
I mean, and where did he come from?
Greece.
Because he was a refugee,
He's from
right?
Greece.
Yeah, well, he's from Greece.
Oh, never mind then. All right, my bad. Fuck, what's his name? The center from the Raptors.
Oh, I know you're talking about him blanking.
Yeah, right.
He's a refugee
people
from.
are killing each other.
He's from Haiti.
Yeah.
All right. I think we've said what we need to say about this. It's going to be interesting to see where things go from here, and to see, because I feel like the next thing that has to happen is the NBA players have to demand something. They have to make some type of move, because you can't just boycott the game and then come back in 2 days and play your games as normal. Like, there has to be something that's done here, and whether that's we want to meet with representatives, we want to meet with local law enforcement, whatever the case is, I think the NBA players have to now set the precedent of this is how a sports league essentially, and how athletes need to further this conversation and get the change that needs to happen in our country. That's the only thing that can be done. Let's get into last call, everybody. It's been a long show, but I feel like that was important for us to talk about that. I feel like we definitely needed to address that. We want to thank More Labs. I will absolutely be getting one of these morning recoveries tonight, because I'm feeling pretty good. Drew is off the chains at this point.
I've had a beer this whole time, and I'm sitting here trying to hold it in because I'm gonna just break out to the bathroom after this.
Head on over to morelabs.com, use the code SPORTS, and get 20% off your entire order. Hook them up. More Labs, their miracle drug. They will help you wake up in the morning, help you focus, help you get to sleep at night. Hit them up, morelabs.com. Use the code SPORTS. Also, be sure to rep the show. Head on over to craftbrewsports.com/shop. We got our new shirt that Scott announced last week. Nuggets Please is up there. I'm rocking a Dinger Slinger shirt. The Do That Hockey shirt's there. More entertaining than baseball, our soccer shirt. And if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, our golf shirt is available. Be sure to hit all of those up. Head on over to craftbrewsports.com/shop and get all of your gear. This week, we had a couple different beers. Good Lord, I am a mess over here. I don't even have the beers on the screen.
Bam.
I got it. I was drinking Sad Panda from House and Dragon Brewing Company. Drew was drinking Abuse of Stout, and Scott was drinking Chocolate Cinnamon Roll from Braxton Labs. We're rating these beers on the Batman scale, and I felt like Scott was a little hating on my scale from Clooney all the way up to Bale.
No, I wasn't. I was fine with your scale. That was your boy Drew.
Well, but you said you kind of gave me some attitude about Keaton potentially being the best Batman. But let's see.
There was a little disagreement about who the best was. I'm pretty sure as far as Batman. But I'm gonna go ahead and jump in here.
Yeah,
and
go ahead,
Drew.
Drew.
I think this beer to be was an Adam West, because this was a high quality beer. It was delicious. It was a little funky, but at the end of the day, you had a damn good time.
Also, as you were sipping that, I just saw bam, pow from that ABV.
Like, that's what it was. Like, it was that kind of beer where it was boozy. It wasn't terribly boozy, but it's also hard to hide 12%. So to me, the Abuse of Stout was an Adam West.
Scott, where did Chocolate Cinnamon Roll rank for you?
Where's Rachel? If Christian Bale is at the top of your scale for Batman, then I'm going at the very top. This got me speaking in a deeper voice for no particular reason. Chocolate Cinnamon Roll. It was another week where I looked and I'm like, holy crap, this beer is gone, and we've got about an hour left of this show. Fantastic beer. So, get you some Chocolate Cinnamon Roll if you ever.
Dude, Sad Panda definitely hit that Christian Bale level for me. The coffee flavor on that was so good. There was just a little bit of vanilla in it. It wasn't like a coffee stout that was overpowering with the coffee flavor. Like, sometimes you have a coffee stout and you're like, okay, that tasted like an iced coffee. This was just a perfect It was. I saw a check-in from Untapped from our friend John Hicks, who had said this was like the perfect representation of the style, and I would 100% agree. This was like one of the best coffee stouts I've ever had. Just enough coffee flavor that wasn't overpowering, but man, was it good. So I am also putting this one as a Christian Bale because I love it. And you can get yours at Beer Drop. Head on over to beerdrop.com. Actually, go to craftbrewsports.com/beerdrop and you can order some Sad Panda directly from them. This has been Last Call, brought to you by, I can't find it, whatever. You know who it's from.
Dugout Mugs?
Dugout Mugs, More Labs, whoever.
More Labs,
somebody.
whatever.
Boss Man Beers. I don't know. We got too many goddamn sponsors on the show.
We've got there's 3 options here now.
I got
This
so
has
many.
been brought to you by all of our great sponsors. How about
Go
that?
check them all out. All you got to do, go to craftbrewsports.com
That's
and
right.
click on the sponsors tab, and you can check out all of our great sponsors. We got all the links to all of them. And also, while you're there, go buy some shirts because they are fucking sweet. Look at this.
They're also stupid comfy. I cannot wait for that
It's
Terry
very
sweatshirt,
comfortable. Fellas, this has been a damn fine show. I appreciate you guys. I hope you know that.
I'm excited to see how the rankings hold up. We
that's gonna be
revisit
the
them come
best.
January.
I mean,
I
we
was
got to
saying,
do
so,
that
well,
a
we
couple
gotta-
times, right? We
got
got to do that a
while
couple times.
to
during the
check in
season.
on those, right?
Well, that was our preseason rankings. We'll revisit it after
preseason
week
rankings,
one.
yeah.
We'll see where everybody moves up after week one. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for hanging out with us on this extended episode of Craft Brewed Sports. Be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Craft Sports, like the YouTube page, and be sure to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts. We're on all of them. You have no idea how much those ratings and reviews help us. So do us a favor. Go right now. Leave us a 5-star rating. Leave us a review. Subscribe. Even if you don't listen to it, just subscribe. It helps us out. Subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get those podcasts. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you guys all next week.
Peace. We out.